Today's video might surprise you. We'll be talking about how perfectionism could be causing your clutter, disorganization, and messy house. Stick around. Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina. I'm a life transformation coach, and here at this channel we talk all about mental health, personal development, and understanding our own psychology so that we can live our best life possible. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please go ahead and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. So today's video actually comes from a very interesting comment I received on another video on this channel, which is called the Psychology of Disorganization. So the comment was about how this person was feeling that perfectionism was causing a block for them to be able to clean up their house or get organized. And although I did respond to the comment, I thought this was something that we really needed to make a full video about, because I think this is something that actually affects way more people than they realize. So right away you might be thinking, how could that even be possible? How could a perfectionist even be messy? Wouldn't a perfectionist want a house that is perfectly clean and do everything in their power to make sure that is the case? Or you might be thinking, well, what is a perfectionist and how can I know if I am one? So I'm going to be talking about both of these questions in this video, and then I'm going to be tying the two together and show why these things are often very connected. So just so we're on the same page, let's start by talking about what a perfectionist actually is. So if we're going by the dictionary definition of a perfectionist, it's someone who simply cannot accept any standard that is short of perfection. But I also think it's very important that we understand the traits and characteristics of those who struggle with this so we can have a better understanding of whether or not it may be affecting us as well. Perfectionists like to set high goals for themselves, but have a deep fear of failure. They may have unrealistic standards and be highly critical of themselves. They can feel deeply upset when they make mistakes or feel that they haven't performed to their standards. They have difficulty accepting help with projects and are extremely sensitive to the evaluations of others. So someone that's a perfectionist has a need to appear perfect, but that is not the same thing as striving to be our best. It's not about working towards growth or achievement in a healthy way. It's about needing to always do things flawlessly, which is, of course, not even possible for anyone. In fact, the behaviors that are associated with perfectionism are often subconsciously being used in order to try to prevent negative judgments from other people or to control the way that they see us. So what are the signs that someone might be a perfectionist? The first thing can be taking excessive time to complete tasks that other people can complete more efficiently. The second thing can be the tendency to procrastinate because of the desire to wait until something can be done perfectly, or the refusal to perform tasks that can't be done according to the excessively high standards that have been set. And the third thing can be having difficulty being sincerely happy for other people's successes or constantly comparing ourselves to other people. So we're going to feel like a failure if we did a project for work and we got tons of compliments on it, but we got that one negative criticism and that's really going to stick with us. Or we're going to spend 20 or 30 minutes rewriting a text or an email to a coworker to make sure we get the exact wording. Or we're going to feel too embarrassed to try something new because we have this unrealistic desire to be able to do something perfectly well right from the beginning. So we can easily connect the dots between perfectionism and the inability to clean our house or to get organized, because if there's that perception there that we're not going to be able to meet our organizational standards or be able to clean our house or maintain our house in the way that we really want to, we're not going to allow ourselves to try in a lot of cases. When we have that standard of perfection, it often prevents us from taking even the most logical steps that could truly make a significant difference in the cleanliness of our house or our organizational skills, because it's still not good enough to us. It's not perfect. So what ends up happening is usually pretty much nothing. A lot of times I hear excuses that are tied to perfectionism, but they're really just roadblocks to making progress. So for example, it could be that they have decided that there is only one precise and specific way to attack the house and to clean it, and it has to be done in this, specific way that's not available to them right now. So they may feel like the only solution is to buy this really expensive organizational system that they can't afford right now, or that everything in their cupboard has to be in alphabetical order, or that their clothes have to be sorted all by colors, and it just adds layers and layers of tasks onto the original project, making it more and more difficult. So it's really no wonder why the procrastination is taking place. So for someone that isn't a perfectionist, they are probably okay with just having the clothes off the floor, or the dishes done, or the counters clean. They have set a standard that is realistic, so it is not intimidating for them at the end of the day to tidy up and to make sure the house is clean enough and functional for them, rather than having that perfectionistic standard where we want the house to always look like a showroom and always be perfectly organized at all times. And this just causes so much stress and overwhelm just thinking about it, because who could keep up with a standard like that? Probably close to no one. So again, we are stacking the odds against us from the beginning. So instead, what happens is we go back to that all or nothing thinking, where we're not going to try it all, or we're going to endlessly procrastinate because we feel that subconsciously, again, if we don't try, we don't ever have to fail, or we're not going to feel like a disappointment because we're not able to, have the house clean or organized to our standards. So if we feel like this is something that we could be struggling with, the very first step is to acknowledge that this could be an issue for us. Because in the back of our mind, when we have unmet goals or unmet needs such as this, it can have a lot of negative impacts. It can contribute to low self-esteem, and it can even contribute to anxiety and depression. So this is something that we really do want to take seriously, because it starts to become a vicious cycle. So we need to be honest with ourselves if this is something that is holding us back, because perfectionism is something that can absolutely be overcome, but it needs to start with the understanding and the realization that perfection is not a standard that can ever be reached. We have to come to terms with the fact that nothing really gets accomplished when we have that standard of perfection, and really getting something done is a great relief. Maybe it's not going to be to the excessively high standards that we have set for ourselves, but when we allow ourselves to try, when we allow ourselves to start to make progress, even though we do struggle with perfectionism, we do have a sense of relief that things are happening, that the ball is rolling. It's just allowing ourselves to take that leap of faith to start trying. We're simply not a failure if we miss a spot here or there, or if our soup can labels aren't all facing the same direction. We have to take a moment and look at the direct comparison. Having a house that is more or less clean and tidy and functional, or having a house that is cluttered and completely disorganized and a mess because we refuse to start the process. And keep in mind that if we can push past the perfectionism a little bit and get our house a little bit more clean and a little bit more organized, it starts to make us feel very empowered and, inspired to keep the process going, and we'll eventually be able to get it a lot closer to the standards that we want. But we have to understand that having that fear of failure, having that fear of not having it perfect, is really a roadblock keeping us from what we ultimately do want. So it might just be that for now we have to set the bar a little bit lower. We have to have a standard that is a little bit more realistic so that we can stop feeling so overwhelmed and begin to start on the process. So maybe it just starts with getting the counters cleared off, or getting the towels off the bathroom floor. Start with something, because once you see that progress, again, you really are going to want to continue. Perfectionists just have this terrible habit of looking at where they are at right now and looking at this extremely high goal and then just focusing on the huge gap between where they are now and where they want to go. So we can help ourselves out a little bit by making the goal a little bit smaller for now, and then just, increasing the goals as we go. Because if we focus on that huge gap, of course we're not going to want to start. It is too intimidating, it is too much, and we are too scared that we won't be able to do it. So keep in mind, if we can allow ourselves to set a goal that is actually achievable, we're going to have a lot more luck actually achieving that goal. So I truly hope that you found this video helpful. Please know that this is something that I have struggled with for most of my life, not only perfectionism, but also having a house that is cluttered and messy. It's just been in the recent few years that I have been able to really transform my life and transform my house, and this is why I have a whole series on this topic. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please become a subscriber, because this is a topic that I will continue to explore in great detail, because I know that sometimes we just need a little bit more support and understanding from people who have been there, which is definitely something I can relate to. So as always, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have an amazing day, guys. Take care.